What is up, guys? We are jumping straight into the draft. Reborn versus Team Limitless. You guys know Reborn. They've been around a while. They've got some new players on their team. Logic is their new carry, and Solo Nazgul is actually subbing in for Vecron today, who apparently had some PC issues. Team Limitless, a newer team. We've seen some of these players in the competitive scene before, so we'll be jumping into this game number one from them. Sevarog banned by Reborn. And Team Limitless is going to be banning Wraith. Is that a ban for Involve in the mid lane, or is that a ban for Logic? I feel like Wraith is a respect ban for Involve.
I don't think it's a respect ban at all. I think it's just
I
a
think
ban.
you're I think you're wrong. Reborn picking up Rampage. The best jungler in the world is Rampage. Just so strong in that jungle. Again, we talked about it with the regen, the stun, the damage, the engage, all the things he does so well. So good first pick coming up from Reborn, which opens up Revenant and possibly Muriel for Team Limitless, but they've gone with a Feng Mao pick right off of the bat. I was not expecting a Feng Mao pick. Were you, my friend?
We've not seen Feng Mao for quite a
Ever?
bit. I mean, basically, Feng Mao is the hero that the players who are excessively good at him will pick him up and then dominate the lane, and then that's about all we'll see of the Feng Mao in PCL at all. We'll see if that happens for Team Limitless. It definitely has a very strong pedigree behind it, and Team Limitless are going to have to do some pretty good work with it here in order to show its potential.
Kwong picked up as well for Team Limitless. So Ruthless, or not Ruthless, I apologize. Feng Mao, is he going to be in the jungle with, or are we going to see Kwong in the jungle? Very interesting. We'll have to see how this draft plays out here. Faye picked up on the side of Reborn. Faye, in my opinion, one of the strongest mid laners in the game. The change to her ultimate, plus the damage out of her nettles, is absolutely fantastic. Muriel picked up as well, so Reborn has a pretty nasty draft so far. We've got the damage coming out of Team Limitless on Feng Mao if they're able to get him ahead. If you don't get Feng Mao ahead, though, he's going to struggle quite a bit when it comes to his damage output and his ability to be an impact in these games. Revenant has not been picked up for either of these teams yet. I'm surprised we didn't see Revenant picked up by the side of Reborn. Team Limitless, if I had to guess, I would suggest they pick up that hero. Bellica being picked up, most likely in a support position. We see a lot of Bellica support. I think Bellica is still a strong support when you compare her to your Narbashes and Phase. I think she's definitely up on the top of that list there. We haven't seen a lot of Phase. I thought for sure FaZe was going to be a hero we saw, and then she got changed last patch, and people have really kind of steered away from her. Gideon picked up for the side of Team Limitless. A lot of control on this on this team. Pith, are they going to be able to? Hopefully, they're able to utilize it. That's the big thing here, playing against one of the best in the competitive scene right now.
I'm just
Murdoch
looking at
and
this lineup and for Reborn, and I see so many good things for them. Logic on the Fae once again. We've seen some, or not Logic, but Involve rather.
Involve.
Involve has had some amazing games on that hero. Ones that I might even been a little bit cautious about. He comes in on the Fae and has a fantastic game, and now her ult is that much better. I just remember Shadon cleaning house with that hero last weekend in
Yeah.
the EU games, and I think Involve is going to be at that same level, if not better, just because of the way that he plays that hero and reflects Kalari once again. Like, I don't think that there's a hero that I enjoy seeing reflect play more than Kalari, and I'm pretty excited to see it here.
I mean, everybody said Reflect was one trick, where he's not on Greystone.
I
He's
saw
not on
the. Did you see
Sevarog.
the meme today?
I didn't see the meme today.
Where the square root of -1 is equal to Reflect's hero pool.
That's fantastic. Well, we get to see him on Kalari. I haven't seen him on Kalari in a very long time. This is going to be interesting draft on the side of Reborn. They've got a ton of damage. They've got a lot of control. Limitless on the same hand, though. They've got great damage coming out of Revenant. They've got a consistent stun out of Bellica, plus that Gideon ultimate. If they're able to utilize these hero kits properly, they may be able to deal in these team fights. Team fights. Reborn has to be careful. Good drafts on both of these teams. Let's jump into game number one, Pith.
Yeah, you got it. Let's start up in 3, 2, 1, go.
You guys saw the drafts. We're going to introduce these players over on the Dusk side. We got D_Bake on Kwong. Anori Chan is going to be playing Bellica. Volotho is going to be in the mid lane on Gideon. Power Flower is going to be on Revenant. And Ruthless Maha is going to be playing Feng Mao.
And meanwhile, for Team Reborn, it's going to be Reflect playing the Kalari, solo Nazgul subbing in for Vecron as the Muriel. We've got Jay Leo coming out of the jungle as the Rampage. Logic himself is going to be playing a Murdoch. And then finally, nice little mid lane Faye for Involve.
I'm really liking Faye's changes. Faye, we've seen that change to her ultimate was a big one. And it's not a big one that, oh my God, it's a big change. Just the fact that they'd allow it to where you no longer break line of sight, her ultimate doesn't work. That's really all she needed. On top of that, it's a 0.3 seconds. So if you get hit with it, you're basically pulled back. You have to be on top of that. If you have any form of control, if you're able to break the tether there with certain cards and whatnot, you have to be on top of it right away, or you're going to get pulled in. And the way she combos off herself is a ton of damage. And we're already seeing Involve in the mid lane be very aggressive against Volo here. Against solo Nazgul, he's in a bit of trouble. Shields are going to pop down. Power Flower trying to be aggressive. Are they going to be able to pick up this kill on solo Nazgul? I don't think so. No, he's going to be able to get away there.
Again, it's all about the minion control here. Once you start going for the aggro onto the heroes, you have to make sure that you know exactly where those minions are going in the early game, and you kind of almost want to try to wait until those minions are gone so you're not taking too much damage from it. We see Reflect doing a nice job with the minion control here in the solo lane, and we definitely need to see more of that in the duo for Power Flower and Inori-chan, as they are up against a pretty good duo for Reborn.
So with Reflect on Kalari, I haven't seen a ton of Kalari in PCL in a very long time. What is Reflect?
Actually, hold that thought. Power Flower is going to get taken down quite low by Solo. Nazgul needs to hit one or two more shots. Can Logic get it? He's actually not going to be able to get the range that he needs out of that. Still at level 1, and the Reverend's going to be able to get back to his base with his health intact. What does the Kalari need to do here? Just make sure that she doesn't get too involved with Ruthless, and maybe they get some good ganks from J-Leo as well. Rumble goes down, Rock picked up. Can he hit this one? Ruthless will get hit just before he goes up that ramp, gets blocked into a corner by Reborn, and that's going to be a nice little kill to start off their game.
Yeah, good kill for Reborn there. It is going to go to Rampage and not the Kalari. Do you think Kalari wins this lane against Feng Mao, or do you think Feng Mao just has the higher damage output at the start of the game?
I think the Kalari has to be very careful when going up to the minions. If you can play around that, sure, maybe the Kalari wins, but I think inherently Feng Mao has the advantage there. So what he needs is to get levels. That's what Reflect is really in this lane for. And once you get up to that level 5, you can be a very big force on the map. Remember, you have that global death sentence, so I mean, it's not necessarily about winning the lane for Reflect. Sure, don't lose it, but you don't necessarily need to win it hands down.
So just get those levels, get that level 5, and help your team secure kills on the rest of the map. Logic again getting aggressive over here against Power Flower. Well, trying to. They got aggressive against Inori-chan. He's going to have to back up. They're keeping this lane pushed very far forward. We haven't seen a gank come out of this Kwong yet, but as far forward as they have and as low as solo Nazgul is, I think you'd expect a gank here a little bit sooner to help them alleviate some of the pressure on Inori-chan and Power Flower. Volotho in the mid lane here, continuing to get poked by Involve. Landing consecutive nettles will give you that extra damage. On top of that, she doesn't run out of mana if you're landing those. Involve missing a nettles right there. Got this lane pushed forward. There is a Nettles, though, that will land, and Volotho, again,
meanwhile,
very
though, we've got some action in the duo lane. Void Drone goes down from Inori-chan. That's going to protect him from J-Leo's Rock, and that's actually going to stop the aggression there. With as aggressive as Reborn are being, the lane's just pushed up a bit too far for J-Leo to have too much of an effect here.
Volotho with the slow, or Involve with the slow on Volotho in the middle. He is going to miss that Nettles. Rift away into the safety of his tower here. Involve does have his ultimate. Not going to continue that aggression. Reflect, pretty low. He's going to back off. He does have that level 5. Like you said, getting those levels. Ruthless Maha is only sitting at level 4. Reflect with the back here. I'm very interested to see the builds coming out of Reflect. He's picked up a Taskmaster. Of course, he's picked up that Possessed Sprite, such a strong card in that solo lane position. Involve in the mid lane. Also picked up a Possessed Sprite as well. Very common card in the competitive scene because of the amount of regen it provides. My screen just bugged out, so I was wrong. Reflect, rotating in, helping to pick up a kill. I say rotating, death sentencing in, picking up a kill under Revenant, and Nori-chan is going to follow as well. That's 3 down. Reborn just dominating there. Death sentence coming in. That's the effectiveness of that ultimate, that global presence that he coming out of Kalari. What are you going to see? We're 5 minutes into the game. 3 kills picked up very quickly for Reborn. They're farming the enemy jungle here. Map control is a big, or early game engagement is a big part of Reborn's play style. If these guys have watched these before, they know that. Like, how do you combat that early game aggression, especially with death sentence, where if you get a little bit low, he ults in and picks you up.
Well, you gotta hit your abilities, and we're kind of seeing that here as Jay Liu is juking and jiving around the jungle, but when he's surrounded by 3 heroes, there's only so much he can do without a Muriel, so that's gonna be a good return kill for Team Limitless inside the jungle. Nice job of them to rotate through and get the damage that they needed to kind of take control of their jungle back again, which they really do need against Reborn.
Yeah.
But the key is don't use too much of your map control to do that. One thing that I would have liked to see a little bit from Team Limitless is Ruthless Maha, as soon as Reflect goes for that dense sentence onto the other side of the map, try to push and get some damage on that tower. You see it down to about half health right now. I think that Ruthless could have done a little bit more there. He actually went back and tried to farm the jungle while Reflect was out of the lane, which seems to me like a little bit of lack of efficiency.
Okay. And that makes perfect sense. Just keep that split push pressure up for Ruthless. Kalari's not a pick we see a lot of in the competitive scene. What's the reason behind that? I mean, we've seen the solo lane, the 2v2 and solo lane is back in Paragon. It's kind of been gone since, not kind of been gone. It's been gone since Monolith was introduced.
Sort of.
With this, I mean,
you had the mid lane.
Technically, because the gold buff, we had the duo mid lane, but
yeah.
Now Epic is pushed more towards the, I guess, quote unquote, traditional lane setup. Do you think this is better for the overall health of the game? Do you think this opens up a lot more unique opportunities to see more heroes like Kalari?
The thing is, I really don't think that change in particular necessarily says, oh, we're going to have a 2v2 lane now, as we see Involve just going ham on the mid lane. I feel like just Epic saying it isn't really enough to force that lane, and I think the competitive players kind of agree, but they're playing with it for now. I think eventually we'll see them go back to more different solutions to where the buffs are on the map. Like even last week we saw Toronto Esports, they actually went for their duo in the aqua buff lane anyway. I mean, it didn't really matter to them the lane position of those buffs. It didn't really matter to them, so they just kind of went for their strategy. I don't think we're seeing that so much this time around. Maybe we'll see that tomorrow. That kind of put your heroes where the map geography kind of dictates that.
Right.
I would like to see it tomorrow, but I think that's more what teams should be looking for, especially with proximity to jungle is the more important change for me.
Do you think that the Dusk side has an advantage because strong side jungle in that lane allows you to be more aggressive and really punish the duo lane? Do you think that's going to be a big part in why we see the top teams possibly do the 1-1-2?
Nash, I think I'm going to need a little bit more data on that one, but I don't think it's as cut and dry. I'm sorry.
Fired.
I don't think that it's as cut and dry as, Dusk has the advantage. I think it's more, well, you know what, it depends what heroes you have and how you're able to utilize them. I think that's still going to be the major influence on that, but I think that side is definitely going to affect, which heroes you want to play in which matchup. And I think that's why it's important that we do like we do in the PCO, where we give teams a choice on which side they want to go.
Aggression coming out of Reborn here. They picked up 2 easy kills, which is going to lead to a tier 1 tower. Logic landing those shots, playing Murdoch very well right now, picking up a kill on Power Flower. And Inori-chan, rotation coming in, of course, from Jay Leo. He's going to ult up, and that tier 1 tower is going to fall. If I'm Revenant right now, I'm just going to kind of freeze this lane under my tower, give myself a little bit of safe farm, and try and deny some farm from Logic on that Murdoch. Involve in the mid lane. He's just really been dictating the flow of this mid lane here, landing those nettles, keeping Volotho below that 50% mark for most of the time. I mean, one big thing to notice is last hits. Volo, that can't be right on my screen. Let me adjust this real quick. Volo at 36 last hits. It showed 15 before.
Oh, I
but
showed 15
Involve
as well.
on he's a quick fix of that. Involve
right.
is at 72 last hits. We do see first Fangtooth of the map being picked up here. Very easy Fangtooth for the side of Reborn. But I mean, again, Involve just dictating the flow of the mid lane. He's 3-0. Volo has died twice. He's way behind in farm when it comes to last hits. The gold advantage on the side of Reborn. They've got a 15,000 gold advantage, 57k to 42k. They've got a massive gold advantage here. This early into the game, and of course Reflect just doing a good job in that solo lane, not giving Ruthless any ability to farm. We haven't seen him much on the map other than that first kill, but he has kept Ruthless under control.
He's been pretty much a nuisance on the quarry, making sure that he's unpredictable with his movements, making sure that Ruthless doesn't have as good of a lane as he could, since I think I was definitely right on saying that the Feng Mao is going to win that lane against a Kawari. It's just about Kawari getting the levels and having the map presence. It's not about the laning. It's definitely about the map presence for this hero.
Good boulder coming out of Leo there onto Inori, reflecting the.
You might be a little bit ahead of me here.
Oh no! Spoilers! I'll let you
sorry.
cast it. Cast it. Cast it. So good.
Okay, it's over.
Hype it up.
How do I hype that with you yelling at me?
Hype.
Stop yelling at me.
Dad! I'm sorry. I apologize.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Another notch coming in with the hype. PCL.
I was ahead. I apologize. I didn't mean to spoil the kill. Frick. I ruined everything.
You know, it's okay, because in the end, Notch, you're still another Notch. We still love you. It's all good.
That's not true. Have you been to Reddit recently? Stop it. Reflect over
don't
here.
Go to
level
Wastelands.
9. Level 9. He doesn't have a massive level advantage. He's got the farm, got the kills. With Feng Mao's changes, his slow is now a passive, and it's this sweeping attack in front of him. His ultimate is an execute. If you get him below, is it 25% health?
It changes per level, doesn't it?
I haven't played him in so long that it's after you get to a certain level, it pops up, hey, icon, you can now ult this guy and kill him.
It gives you the icon. When they turn red, you can kill him with your ult.
When they turn red, it's time for them to die.
Yeah.
But he's one of these heroes that we again, I'm saying this, it has to do with the bans that came out, but I think it also has to do with the solo lane, where we're seeing heroes that we haven't seen a lot of back in the game. Volotho is going to fall again, but we're seeing heroes we haven't seen a lot of because of this solo lane setup. It's just a matter of who's able to utilize these heroes better. I'm glad we're seeing Kalari in competitive play. But again, Reflect, he's been more of a nuisance against Feng Mao than he has been on the entire map utilizing that death sentence. And that's just because of the way Reborn's playing. Reborn is playing this really well. Good rotations. It's 11. They've got 11 kills. Only one death on their team, and that's Leo. Tactically feeding in the jungle, Leo does. But second Fangtooth picked up. And they're playing this very smart. What does Limitless have to do here to get back into this game?
They need to kill Fangtooth. That's what they really need to do. They haven't been able to put any pressure on it this game at all. And it's not even like they're failing to gear up for it. They have Volotho. He's gone Growth. He's gone Apex Predator Exo for some reason on his Gideon. I don't even think that's a bug. He also has Flame of Zekin. Clearly wants to get some pressure on the Fangtooth, but they're not doing that at all here. And, well, even though they trade 1-for-1 on the mid lane, it's still going to be the tier 2 tower going the way of Reborn after they take their second Fangtooth, which, surprisingly, Team Limitless hasn't tried to contest at all.
No, they really haven't had. I mean, Reflected was kept Power Flower and Ruthless Maha under control in that off lane. They were able to pick up the kill on Reflect, but at this point, not a huge kill because you've lost the tier 2 tower and Volotho has fallen again. He's 0-4-1 right now. Again, he's about 50 last hits behind Faye, 8,000 gold behind Faye. Just the deficits across the board for these guys. You've got Power, who's sitting at 13,000 gold overall. Logic is not at 12,000 gold. That can't be right.
I fixed him. He is currently at
20,000.
20,000, yeah.
20,000.
That's some quick math notch.
Quick math. 2 + 2 is 4, -1 is 3. Quick maths.
That's some good math. Jay Leo picks up the rock onto Inori. Here comes the black hole. It's only going to hit onto Jay Leo here, and he's going to get smacked in the air by that long arm of the wall. Nice ultimate by Involve as well, pulling in two. Ruthless is going to do all he can to try to go away, but here comes another rock by Jay Leo. They're going to throw in the Judgment of the Heavens to try to slow Reborn down, but at this point, it's not going to matter at all. And Involve, he is getting right on into the LT Bellica, trying to make it even more than a 3 spot for Reborn here. They're probably going to find a tier 2 tower, and remember, they didn't even use the Reversal of Fortune for that one. They're going to go in for a tier 2, just using the global presence of Murdoch and not Muriel there, and they're being really reserved here as they try to take these towers down and keep the pressure onto Team Limitless.
I absolutely love Involve's gameplay. Involve is one of those mid laners. We saw a great ultimate coming out of Involve, but he plays a little bit more front line on his mid play. The moment they picked up those kills, Involve pushed up to that tower. He was using those nettles to try and keep Kwong and Lieutenant Bellica back in the quote-unquote safety of their tower, and just keeps them away from the objective that these guys are trying to take. That opening up, of course, 3 kills, losing another tier 2 tower. That opens up Orb Prime for Reborn. They do pick that up. Fangtooth is spawning in just a second here. It looks like they're going to go over here and pick up their 3rd Fangtooth. And that's exactly what they're going to do. Rotate off, pick up their 3rd Fangtooth. 2 tier 2 towers down for Team Limitless. Massive lead for Reborn. The power of Orb Prime and their 3rd Fangtooth picked up. Lanes are not quite set in their favor, but they do have 3 minutes here to utilize the buff.
They're pretty close right now. They might just have a couple backs at this point to go pick up some final cards, but Reborn are looking pretty good to take game number 1 of this best of 3 set. So Limitless, it's not really been a bad game, but I think that's more the style that Reborn kind of play. They're not really an in-your-face style team. We didn't see as many jungle invades. We saw maybe 1 or 2 this game, but it's been a much quieter one than, say, Asura Rage showed in the last one. So I think it's just kind of the team styles that's resulting in the difference in the matches here.
Trying to chase Reflect through the jungle. He is one slippery bastard. He's going to be able to get away. J. Leo is going to ult here. Inori-chan in a lot of trouble. Is he going to be able to rumble him to death? Also on the Fang Mao. Good ultimate coming out of Involve onto 2 again. Volotho falls again.
You're a little bit ahead. A little bit ahead
No,
again.
I'm not!
Yeah, you are. I'm sorry. It doesn't matter. Team Limitless are still dying pretty heavily here, and that will result in another inhib being taken by Reborn.
And it could Core, are they going to end the game here? They've got the power to do it. 1 inhibitor down. They still have Orb Prime. Power Flower in a lot of trouble. I'm still a little bit ahead. He is going to get melted.
Notch the Oracle here.
Just watch it. It's like I can see the future.
You can definitely see the future. And I'm pretty sure that future includes Team Reborn going for the win here in game number 1 against Team Limitless in a pretty Rebornian fashion, if I can say that.
So this is the Reborn we've seen over and over and over again. They are Reborn's keys to victory is map control and objective control. That sounds simple, right? That's what you have to do to win a game. But the way Reborn does it, the way they dictate the flow of the map with rotations from the jungler, Leo is such a good shot caller. His rotations are always on port. They control every aspect of the game. You put Reflect on top of that, who is one of the best offlaner solo laners in the game, where he really kept Ruthless a non-factor. He was able to push up his lane. He was using that death sentence to get into those team fights. Just the control Reflect brings to the control Reborn brings to the map is really impressive to watch, no matter who they're playing against.
Absolutely not. I don't think that anybody explains it better than you there. I think that's about the best you can say about it. It was really interesting how Reflect decided to play with the strategy of his team. He was the global presence that they needed, but that game just went so fast before he could really show us how he controls that lane. But it
Right.
didn't really matter. Reborn come up with the victory here in game number 1. It's what a lot of people expected from them, but we'll see if those expectations change in game number 2, where they're going to come up against Team Limitless once again. And they got a couple things that they can change before the next one.
Team Limitless, I don't think they lost, so I can't say they didn't play bad, but Team Limitless, I think, played a little bit too passively, especially the jungler. I'd love to see more rotations come out of their jungle here. Try and invade a little bit more, and definitely try, if you have that advantage of the strong side jungle in the duo lane, try and punish that duo lane if you can. Definitely things for them to improve. Reborn played very well. We're going to jump into a game number 2 in just a minute, guys. Don't forget you can support these teams. ! Match Reno in chat. Every dollar we raise for these teams, the prize money goes directly to first and second place. PCL does not take a cut of that. We're doing this for these teams. We're doing this for the community so you guys can see competitive gameplay. As always, thank you guys for supporting PCL. We're going to take a quick break and we'll jump back into game number 2, Reborn versus Limitless, right after this.